please come to a seated position on your mats. Take a moment to remove the flesh from the back of your sitting bones so you can root down into the earth. Inhale, grow long, bring your shoulders up and back. Palms flip open and you can rest them on your knees. Begin to tap into your breath, slowing it down, deepening it. Can you bring your neck back so that it's not jutting forward? And can you use your breath to fill any tight spaces? Send your breath across your body like a scan, looking for any parts, any nooks and crannies that need some inflation, some attention, some energy. Send your breath all over. In through the nose and out through the nose. We're going to start this morning's class with an Om. So please exhale to empty. Inhale. Pause at the top of your breath, part your lips and audibly Let's do that one more time. Inhale. For today's class, the theme is slowing down. Can you slow your breath? Can you slow your movement? And can you slow your mind? Reconciling the need to always get somewhere, to always reach the destination or the finishing point. Can you enjoy the journey? Can you relish in it and soak it in? And realize that life happens right here and right now, not in the past and not in the future. And if we don't pay attention to the here and now, we might end up missing it. So for today's class, can you tap into all of the in-betweens? Instead of trying to get into position or reach a destination, can you move slowly through each transition as if it were a pose in and of itself? Sometimes, even if it feels like we haven't reached someplace, it might feel like or stuck in the middle in no man's land. But this is where life is really happening. So can you fill it with your awareness, your acceptance, your love? Inhale your hands to heart center. Bow into your heart and thank yourself for taking this opportunity. You can roll over onto your hands and knees. Curl your toes under. Make sure your knees are under your hips and your hands are placed underneath your shoulders, a little wider than shoulder width apart. And spread your fingers wide. Make your thumbs a little bit in a softer position, like a J. And claw your fingers into the mat, really plugging in the four corners of your hands. Making sure that this part of your hand, right underneath your index finger, this part of your palm, is rooted into the earth, because that's where you want to put most of your strength. So inhale, drop your belly, lift your sitting bones, lift your gaze. And exhale, curve your spine the opposite direction towards the ceiling. Press into your shoulders. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your sitting bones. This is your cow pose. And exhale, curve your spine towards the ceiling. Look towards your knees. This is your cat. Inhale, back to cow. And exhale, back to cat. Continue pulsing with your breath. Moving perhaps slower than you did before, or in other classes, doing this pulsation. And linking the movement with the breath. Can you slow right down? Instead of trying to rush through this, can you experience every bit of it? Experience every part of your spine. The next time you inhale, come to a neutral spine and press up and back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out for a moment. Make sure you're pressing into your shoulders so your ears come between your biceps. Plug equally into both hands and lift your right leg up and back behind you. Bend your right knee and point it towards the ceiling, dropping your right heel towards the left side of the room and opening up your right hips. Make sure you're weighted equally in both hands so you're not leaning more on one side or the other. And see if you can open up even more. Breathe. Inhale, lift your your right leg back behind you. And exhale, meet your right foot to your left foot into downward dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. Open and stack your hips so that your knee is pointed to the ceiling. Maybe come up higher onto your right ball mound. Equally weighted in both hands. Can you open up a little bit more in your hips? Breathe. Inhale, kick your left leg back behind you, and exhale, drop your left foot to meet your right foot, downward dog. Drop your knees to the mat. And extend your hands further out in front of you, tent your fingers, and then send your sitting bones towards your heels. Lift the underlining of your arms so your shoulder blades come together on your back, and melt your heart and your forehead to the earth. This is your puppy dog pose. Inhale, come through tabletop. You can sit onto your heels for a second if you like. This is a good stretch for the backs of your feet, for your thighs. It's called Thunderbolt posture, and it's not easy for me either, so just know that. You can reach for some blocks if you've got them, or stacked books, or anything that you can hold on to so that you can keep your chest open, your shoulders onto your back. Come up onto your knees and step your right foot forward. Your back toes are still curled under to support your knee. And you can reach for your blocks, have them by your hips, or have something around you that you can hold on to. I also like a little cushion for my knees. So I have a mat here, but you can roll up the edge of your mat as well if you need a little extra cushion or support. So extend your lunge a little bit, either stepping your front foot forward or bringing your back knee back. We're going to reach for our blocks, shoulders up and back. Inhale, lunge into your front leg. Feel the stretch along the front of your left hip, and exhale, send your glutes towards your heel. Flex your front foot towards your face. Inhale, lunge forward. And exhale, go back. Follow your breath here, continuing to pulse. Slowing and deepening the breath. Two more breaths. The next time you lunge forward, plant your hands and step back into a downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet here with a longing to create balance on both sides. Inhale your left leg up, and exhale, step your right foot between your hands and drop your left foot and drop your right knee. Step your left foot forward just a little bit more, widening your low lunge. Reach for your blocks. And inhale, lunge into your front leg. Feel that stretch in your front hip. Exhale, send your sitting bones towards your heel. Flex your toes towards your face. Inhale forward and exhale back. Follow your own unique rhythm and see if you can slow it down. Two more breaths here. Always breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, creating an audible quality to your breath. Next time you come forward, plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. And exhale, bring your left knee to your left wrist crease. And extend your back foot back as much as you can. So you should be resting on your arms. Your left foot should be in towards your right psoas, or your right hip flexor. And your right toes are still curled under. This is your king pigeon. You can grab some blocks if you need them, just ahead of you, and begin to melt to the earth. You can maybe rest your head on some blocks, or if you're able to, rest your head on your forehead on the earth. If you're not feeling enough of a stretch in the outer left hip, and if you are, don't change anything, that's fine. But if you need more of a stretch, you can bring this left foot forward a little bit more and flex your toes towards your knee for an added stretch in your outer left hip. And melt. Can you use your breath to make this a little bit easier? To relieve any tension? Can you send your breath to your body as a thank you for being so awesome, for working so hard for you all the time? Inhale, you can shimmy your leg back if you had it a little bit forward. Press into your hands and step up and back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Notice any differences between your legs, any space that you just created. Inhale, kick your right heel up and back behind you. And exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. Let your right foot come into your left hip crease and back your left foot up a bit. So back it up. This is your royal pigeon, something that we visited the other day. And your sleeping pigeon is when you begin to melt over your front leg. So like I said, you can reach for some blocks. Maybe you've got two stacked on top of each other, and what you do is maybe just rest your head on them, or one, or none. Find your bus stop and respect it. For me, in order to get a little bit more of a stretch, I'm going to bring my right shin more parallel, not completely parallel, but more parallel with the front of my mat, and I'm going to flex my toes towards my knee and melt. So breathe here. Maybe one hip is a little tighter than another. Maybe one side is different than the other. That's okay. Yoga is a practice of uniting with your body, uniting your body with itself, and uniting with your true sense of self. Can you challenge yourself to be exactly where you are without resisting the moment? Maybe bring your neck back so you can make sure that it's not jetting your head forward, but that you're melting with your torso. 2 more breaths here. You can do it, guys. Beautiful. Press your hands into the mat and step up and back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Walk your feet up to meet your hands much slower than you want to, almost taking slow motion steps. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and forward fold. If your knees are very bent, then you can allow your torso to sit on your thighs and melt over your thighs. You can let your arms hang and touch the ground, or you can grab your elbows and sway back and forth, side to side, remembering that your neck is an extension of your spine, so let your head hang. Inhale, halfway lift, bring your shoulders onto your back, your neck comes back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, scoop your arms above your head, grab that beautiful energy accessible to you, and draw it down through your heart center and alongside your hips. Beautiful. We're gonna do 2 more sun breaths like this. So I really want to get the motion of the sun breath. Get your feet perfectly under your hip bones in number 11s. Maybe pedal your feet out here. We're not rushing onto the next pose. We're all nice and warmed up. So bend into your knees and see how that straightens your knees out so they're not coming in towards each other. When you bend them, they kind of line up perfectly with your ankles. And when you straighten them, see if you can maintain that strength that prevents them from collapsing in towards each other. Tuck your tailbone, bring your belly button to your spine, creating a slight wrapping sensation, almost like you're hugging yourself from the inside out with your abs. And with your chest, expand across your shoulders. Bring your palms down. They should be facing the sides of the room. And bring your neck back. That way it is in line with the rest of your spine. And imagine that there's a string coming out of the top of your head, drawing your head, the crown of your head, up towards the sky. Feel that pull. This is your mountain pose. You are strong and sturdy like a mountain. So often this pose gets overlooked because it seems so easy. We're just standing, but it requires engagement. We're not drooping like we normally do. This might be how we stand all day. Can you hold yourself? Can you remain engaged with the present moment, even if you're not doing much? Bend into your knees, and with your palms facing the outside of the room, scoop the air above you. Inhale. Create a space for an energy ball between your palms and draw that energy ball down towards your heart. Focus on the energy between your hands. You can cup your hands, maybe bounce around the energy ball that you've just gathered. Hold it and focus on it for a moment. Imagine your breath is filling your body with energetic light. And can you visualize sending that light that energizes the cells of your being to the palms of your hand and into your beautiful energy ball? Take a moment to send what you want for yourself into this ball. Whether that's self-acceptance, love for yourself or others, more patience, more stamina and determination, or more peace and more rest. Send what you want into your ball. And when you've got a beautiful little energy ball, press it into your heart space and inhale. Feel yourself absorb all of that energy, all of your intentions for yourself. Can you respect and honor those intentions today and always? Inhale, bend into your knees, scoop that air above your head. Bring your palms together this time and draw that energy down through your heart center and alongside your hips. You open your hands like this, you invite it to fill your whole space. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands and step back into a high plank position. With your elbows tucked into your sides, you can drop your knees if you need to, lower down slower than you want to the earth. We're going to do that 3 more times. Just going to point my camera at myself. So if you're on your knees, stay on your knees. If you're on your toes, stay on your toes. So come up onto your hands. Make sure your shoulders are positioned right over top of your wrist creases with your elbows tucked into your sides, lower down. 1, 2, 3, 4. See if you can lower down really slow. Come back up and lower down for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Make sure your toes are untucked. Put the weight into the tops of your feet, all the way across into your pinky toe. And with your hands positioned under your shoulders or around your chest area, press into your hands and see if you can lift your thighs off the ground. This is your upward facing dog. You can come onto your knees, send your hips back towards your feet, bring your big toes together and make your knees wider than hip width apart. This is your child's pose and you can melt to the earth. Just relax for a second. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Remember your breath. Be still. Be still. Be still. Come into a seated position. And bring the soles of your feet together. So anytime we come into a seated position, we find our foundation. Scoot your glutes from your sitting bones. With your hands, you might need to do so you can root tall. Bring your feet together in front of you and grab your feet. See how close you can bring them in while still being relatively comfortable. It's not the most comfortable position because we're opening our hips and usually we have our hips closed. So what we don't practice, we become foreign to. We're re-inviting this motion back into our body, so maybe give your hips a little bit of a flutter here. Never letting them fall without guiding them down. So we're not just dropping our legs, we're fluttering them by actively engaging. And for a moment, can you grab your ankles And just gently push your elbows into your hips as you breathe and pull yourself forward. So you're sitting tall, your chest is bleeding, your shoulders are back, and you're pushing your thighs down just a little bit as you breathe. Breathe into your hips and slow your breath down. When we want to cut and run, can you practice holding the pose, sticking with it? And instead of gritting your teeth and trying to get through, can you breathe and feel all the sensations of this moment? Use your hands to come to the outside of your thighs and close your legs like a book. Extend your legs out in front of you and give your legs a little bit of a shake. Turn to face the wide edge of your mat. Or if you've got the space, you can stay where you're facing and just widen your legs out in front of you, as wide as they can go. And make sure your toes are flexed up towards your face. Make sure your sitting bones are rooted into the earth. Inhale, grow tall. Grow long through the sides of your body. Bring your shoulders up and onto your back, and then begin to melt forward. This is another hip opening pose. You might want your blocks as an option. You can always put your blocks stacked and melt your head to your blocks like this, or this, or this, or whatever. Or you can hold yourself up. Inhale, sit tall without changing your legs. Inhale again, grow long. Twist towards your left leg and exhale, begin to fold over your left leg. Once again, always leading with your heart, so your shoulders are on your back. Maybe that means you can't reach your foot, but that keeps your back straight. So reach for what you can and pull yourself into your leg. Using your breath and gentle strength. Feel the stretch along the back of your leg and the right side of your back. And breathe. See if with every breath you can pull yourself just a little bit more. Inhale, come up to sit. And exhale, fold to the middle. Inhale, come up to sit. Exhale, turn to face your right leg. Inhale, grow long. And exhale, fold over your right leg, leading with your heart. You should be feeling a stretch along the left side of your back, probably your low back. Make sure your toes are still flexed towards your face. And use your breath to melt. Inhale, come up to sit. You can bring your legs in towards each other. Soles of your feet together and just flutter your legs again in butterfly. Just gonna check if we have time for... Okay. Roll over onto your backs. Bring your knees into your belly, holding your shins, rock from side to side. Give your low back a little massage. Bring your arms inside your knees and reach for the outer edge of your feet. Pull down on your feet as you push up onto your hands. Maybe rock from side to side. This is your happy baby. Bring the soles of your feet together and drop your feet to the mat. Bring your hands underneath your head and use your thumbs to give your neck a little bit of a massage. A little bit of self-massage is such a loving, nurturing gift that we can give ourselves. Something we do so infrequently. Maybe find some time in your day-to-day to massage yourself. Touch a part of your body that's longing for some softness, some nurturing. You can extend your legs straight out in front of you, wider than hip width apart. Drop your feet to the sides of the room. Take your hands and just drag them up your neck, up your head, and place your head on the mat. This reduces the curve in your neck, so it's brought closer to the earth, and that creates a slight tuck in your chin. Bring your hands along your hips, also wider than your mat, and let your palms flip up, willing to receive energy, to be nurtured and held. Notice how open you are, how expanded you are. And how you didn't need to curl in towards yourself or collapse or protect yourself to feel supported. You're always supported by the earth. You're always supported by this body. Allow yourself to let go. continuous movement back into your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet, your wrists and ankles. Bring your hands up and overhead and bring your feet together and stretch. Give yourself a good loving stretch. Roll over onto your right side. Use your bicep as a pillow. Rest here for just a moment. And press into your hands and come up to a seated position. Thank you for taking this time to join me to practice today. To practice slowing down. And when we slow down, we allow ourselves to unite with our true selves, to tap into what we truly want, to who we truly are. And we allow ourselves the opportunity to absorb all of it, all of life. Take a moment to bow into yourself and truly thank yourself for doing this practice. I thank you for joining me again. The light and shadow in me bows to and acknowledges the light and shadow in each of you. Namaste. I hope you all enjoyed this class. I hope you all enjoy your day. And I hope you practice slowing down.